Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. This channel contains hundreds of different videos covering all manner of different patterns, techniques and styles of fly tying. There's something here to suit almost everybody, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let's get on with the show. Hi guys, so what I'm going to do tonight is tie it's like a hybrid type buzzer. So a lot of the epoxy buzzers, there's no lifelike motion in them at all. They're rock hard. So what I'm going to do is go a little bit between that and the older sort of natural type buzzers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie black tying thread onto my grub style hook. This is a black nickel grub style hook. I'm going to take that down around the bend, come back up a few turns, and then I'm going to tie in a quill, so a stripped quill. I'll take the stripped quill and I'm going to cut it off sort of two-thirds the way along it, because the very tip portions are very thin and there's no real definition in the stripe in it or the colour from the edge of it. And then I'm going to use my tying thread and I'm just going to go back and forward to create a little bit of taper in the body. So each time what I'll do is I'll not just go as far back. So that means there's progressively more thicknesses or turns of tying thread as we get towards the front, and that makes our taper in the body. So back 3/4 of the way, back half the way, back 1/4 of the way, roughly speaking. And that gives us our taper. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tie in a section of white antron, because I want breathers at the front of this fly. So I'm going to tie that in, and then I'm going to stretch it back a bit here. And then under tension, I'm going to cut that off and wrap over that cut off section. So now I'm going to take my quill, I'm going to start it. Once I have it started, then I can just hold my finger to it on each wrap. I'm wrapping it with my fingers because I tend to find that quill very easily damaged whenever you're using hackle pliers. So each turn I'm just going to put it over, I'm just going to press it in place. So that might be a little bit awkward for you viewing, but you get the idea. So I want my black body section showing through that. Especially the last wrap, when it starts to get shorter, it can be a bit awkward. So I'm going to now have to just hold it in place and tie over it. And then I will trim that off. And that's the quilled section of our fly tied. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to hit that with the UV here now, because otherwise it's going to be very awkward to do when I start adding natural material. So I'm going to put a little bit of that on. It only needs a very light coating, essentially to keep the, I suppose it adds a little bit of weight and it keeps the quill protected from the trout's teeth. So I'll just use my bodkin just to spread that UV here evenly over the fly. And when I'm happy with it, I just rock the vise back and forward so it doesn't settle in any one particular place, and cure it. And then, like the other epoxy buzzers that we tied, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just coat the UV resin with a little bit of clear top coat type varnish, and that will stop it from getting tacky. So ideally you let that sit and dry, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little fur thorax. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it down here away from the varnished bit, and I'm just going to put on a very thin little noodle of like hare's ear. This is kind of hare's ear mixed with a possum, and then I'm going to wrap that on. Create my thorax. So once I've come to the front, what I'll do is I'll lift the antron up there and get in underneath it, just behind the eye. Half hitch that, whip finish or whatever you want to call it, and trim that off. And then we want to finish that. So, tiny little bit of varnish onto the needle, and just get right in behind the eye there. Flick that, and that's the fly tied. All that remains to do then is to cut the antron to create the breathers. So I'm just going to stretch all up, cut that off, and that's our fly tie. So a very understated, natural sort of little buzzer with that, the added effect of the epoxy rear to it, so that'll help it sink a bit, but then you still have that little bit of motion and a little bit of naturalness to the front of it. So a hybrid epoxy buzzer, I suppose. So hopefully you liked the video. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, check out all the other videos on the channel, and until next time, tight lines. Thanks for watching.